So, your next choice is another William Hartnell story, one that you wouldn't really expect to be chosen because it's not really one that is spoke about as a classic, but it's The Rescue.
Oh, good gracious me! Tell me I went off to sleep.
Yes, you did.
Oh,
And at a very critical time.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love The Rescue. It's one of those that the more I watch it, the more I love it. I think it's one that on first viewing you can kind of discount a little bit because it is a two-part story and it's basically more about introducing the new companion. But I think it brings the best out of the companions and it brings the best out of Hartnell, really. There's a lot of misunderstanding with Hartnell that people tend to think of him as, the grumpy old curmudgeon, but actually he changed such a lot in his 3 years. And I think The Rescue is one of those where he really shows like a more affectionate side and shows more of a sort of grandfatherly side, especially after sort of losing Susan in the Dalek invasion of Earth beforehand. I think it's just a great character piece.
It's the first one where you sort of see a different TARDIS crew to the one we were introduced to in Unearthly Child, because you've got no Susan.
Yeah.
So it all makes for a different thing. I haven't seen this one, but I don't really know much about it. But I'm interested to see how different it will be to the rest of the early Hartnells.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say it's a very different one because, in a way, without spoiling anything, it doesn't really have a very conventional villain/monster.
No, it's quite a classic sort of murder mystery in a way, which is quite interesting as well. It's a bit different from a lot of the other Hartnells, I think, that one.
It's very contrast from the previous story, Dalek Invasion of Earth, which
is very epic,
very big and bolstery, and you had Daleks going across Trafalgar Square, and you had the Robo-Men, whereas this one's a much more compacted story. Is that why you chose it?
Yeah, I think it's one that you can really, like I say, it rewards repeat viewings. I think it's one of those that you can come back to again and again. I think the Dalek Invasion of Earth is an amazing story, and it's really epic, and there's so many iconic scenes, like you said, the Daleks coming over London Bridge and things like that. I just really like The Rescue. I think because again it gives the characters something to really sink their teeth into, and it's one of my favourite TARDIS teams. Actually, it's not one that's often talked about. Barbara and Ian and Vicky. I like Susan a lot, but I think there's a real charm to Vicky that in the few stories that she's in. I think she really brings like the best out of Hartnell again. It's an interesting story. I think it helps being two parts as well. It's easy to watch.
Sort of shorter one. I think Vicky gets overlooked because you've got obviously Susan, Doctor's granddaughter, so you focus on that aspect, and also quite a few of the Vicky ones are missing. There are quite a few that exist, but there are missing ones as well.
Yeah.
Which means she's not as well represented in the archives as a lot of companions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt a bit sorry for Susan in a way because she starts off a really, really interesting character, and then it was almost as if they didn't really know what to do with her after the first season, and she didn't always get as good lines as she should have done. She was quite a strong character to begin with in The Unearthly Child, and things like the Sensorite. She was really pivotal in that story as well, with being able to read minds and things like that. But she kind of went a bit off the boil after that, and I can kind of understand why Caroline Ford left after was it series 2 or whatever. Because she didn't get as many good lines after that, I don't think, after that first season. So it was nice to have a strong character like Vicky coming in, who was maybe a bit more interesting than Susan had been at the end.